What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Mother Jai, and in today's video it will be a story time of me being 19 and pregnant. Disclaimer, I am in no way, shape, or form telling anybody to go out there and get pregnant. I am not trying to glamorize teenage pregnancy. I am just telling my story, and hopefully I'm able to help out anyone going through the same thing. So let's just get into it. So, as I stated, I got pregnant at 19. I've known my child's father since we were pretty much kids in middle school. We went to the same schools. We would see each other in the hallways and stuff. I guess you could say we really started getting to know each other, when we got older, after we both graduated high school. So anyway, I had met Tarek maybe 3 months after I officially decided I was done with my toxic relationship. Honestly, it all started with a date to Rita's. That's where I wanted to go. A date to Rita's, and it was history. From then on, we were inseparable. We spent every single moment we could together. By the time we dated for 3 months, we moved in together. We got our first place. We got a townhouse. And by the time by the time we were together for 8 months, I had found out that I was pregnant. So some people may ask me, how did you find out you were pregnant? Well, first things first, for the first 4 or 5 weeks, I really didn't know. And there were key signs proving that I was pregnant, but I didn't pay them any mind. So first thing, breast enlargement. So my boobs were getting bigger. I was thinking awesome, I'm a late bloomer, I'm finally getting some titties, but it wasn't that. Also, my boobs also hurt. I started sleeping a lot. I never used to be the type of person to take naps, but I was napping a lot, and I was hungry. It was I had to eat every 2 hours. If I didn't eat after 2 hours, I was literally feeling sick. It didn't make any sense. I was starving. And I'm dang, I just ate. I had put on about 10 pounds before I found out that I was pregnant. What made me take a test was, so I was at work one day, every time I start my period, before I start my period, I start cramping. Well, I was cramping, and I started bleeding, but it was a little bit. So I'm I'm probably stressed out, whatever. But the thing was, I spotted for literally an hour, and then I didn't have anything else after that. I was thinking, because at the time, me and Tarek had a lot going on. At the time, we didn't know if we were going to be together. I actually was planning on just ending our relationship because it wasn't working. We had gotten a really bad argument. Things started going downhill from there. I started catching him message other females and blah, blah, blah. So, one night, I decided to just try to get my mind off of things, and I had went out with 2 of my friends. We had went to the beach. Tarek was at work or whatever. I guess he got off early, and his friends had decided they were going to go to the beach. So I was okay, well, I'm with my friends, so we might as well just all meet up, whatever. He started acting such an asshole or whatever. So I was okay, whatever. So after the beach, we didn't meet up with them. After the beach, we just decided to, go grab a bottle. We're going to go home and drink. So, after we grabbed the bottle, I just had this feeling that I should take a test because I was I just don't feel like myself. I just want to, push this out of my mind at the least, So I took the test. I had a dollar store test, and it came out positive. My mindset was, what would this dollar store test know? It's just $1. It can be wrong. So me and my friends went to Walmart, and we bought the $20 test, a more expensive pregnancy test, and it still came out the same. At that point, I was literally in absolute shock. I was wow, God really has a dark sense of humor. This is fun. This is so funny. Probably has to be his biggest joke yet. I don't really know how I felt. I had a bunch of mixed emotions. One part of me was should I even keep this baby? I can't be a mom. I'm only 19. Another part of me was might as well strap up and get ready to be a single mom because obviously this dude is probably not going to act right, and I made the biggest mistake having unprotected sex. Another part of me was you know what, Jair, you made this bed, you need to lay in it. Just roll with the punches. So after like all me and my friends sat and like had a moment of silence, you know, eventually they were just like, you know, let us know what you want to do, blah blah, and they went home. When I finally sat by myself and I was alone with my thoughts, I was just like, what did I do? I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with having a child, don't get me wrong, but I was just like, do I even know how to be a mom? Like, I'm not gonna know what to do. Like, I was just like, what am I gonna do? So, eventually, Tara gets home around 5 a.m. and I was still up because literally I was just crying all night because I was just upset at the situation that I was in. I was like, you know, how could I have been so stupid? I handed him both of the tests, and I had let him know. I said, here. And he was like, what's this? I was like, I'm pregnant. I mean, so he just sat there for a second. He didn't really say much. I don't think he knew what to say. So then I was just like, I hope you don't assume that we have to be together just because we're having a child. You know, I let him know if he would like a DNA test, he could certainly get one whenever, you know, it is deemed safe to get one. But, you know, he said he wasn't hearing any of that because I was just like, you know, I don't want you to think like I'm just trying to make this work because we have a baby, because that's not it. So he was just like, what did I tell you, you know, we were going to do if this happened? Okay, I know what you told me, but I know that your actions currently was just saying something completely different, and I don't know why it's different now that we have a baby. We're going to have a baby. So we ended up talking things out. We decided we were going to stay in our relationship and work things out. Pregnancy was okay. I had a lot of complications throughout my pregnancy. I really wasn't prepared for the weight gain, for my hips to spread, for the stretch marks. Like, I was thinking since I was so tiny before I got pregnant that, you know, I would be fine afterwards. Like, I was just gonna snap back. Throughout my pregnancy, it was really hard for me to feel pretty, and I'm not sure why. Like, I'm used to being a very small, skinny, petite female. And, you know, obviously when you're pregnant, you put on some weight. And by the end of my pregnancy, I put on like a lot of weight. I probably gained 50 plus pounds, and my face was so swollen, like I looked like an ogre. So I dealt with like low self-esteem. Me and Tarek still also had our problems throughout my pregnancy. There were a couple more times where I had caught him messaging, you know, females. So I think at one point I really just, I don't know, I didn't know what to do. We were able to work past that. I'm honestly surprised. Having my son and being in labor was really, really rough. So I had made it to, by the time I was 39 weeks, I dilated half a centimeter. Half a freaking centimeter, not even one full one. And they decided that they were going to induce me, I think a day or two before my due date. So I go in there and they insert something called a Foley balloon or whatever, and I had to wear that. They put the thingy up there. It's like a balloon or something to try to open my cervix. I had to wear it for 12 hours. It was not comfortable, to say the least. I was pissing like a racehorse. And it made me, you know, contract a lot. So after 12 hours, they took the Foley balloon out. You know, I'm contracting at my own at this point. So I think I made it to whichever point, I forgot which point, where they decided to break my water. I made it to 6 centimeters without any drugs or anything, because I was on my Earth Mom stuff. I was like, I don't want any drugs, like leave me alone. I did whatever I had to do. I walked around, I did squats, I even danced a little bit to try to help with labor, and it was helping progress the labor. But eventually, Zadrian's health started to decline. His heart rate kept dropping. So they were like, we're gonna have to, because it didn't matter which way. They were like, sometimes it's a position. So they were turning me every which way, trying to basically, you know, bring up his heart rate, and nothing was working. So they did an epidural. 10 out of 10 do not freaking recommend, but that's just my opinion personally. I do not like the epidural. When they had, first of all, putting the needle in my back, and when they started squeezing the stuff in, it like I had felt all my body weight just drop to my, like, I don't know, it was a really weird feeling. I can't even explain it. So at that point, you know, they're just, you know, waiting, trying to get the OR prepped or whatever. And now there is a race against time because his cord is wrapped. Well, I done went ahead of myself, but basically when we went in the OR, they had found out that his cord was wrapped around his neck twice, and every time it was contracting, it was basically squeezing the cord, and he couldn't breathe. So thank God that they got him out. I was a little disappointed because I didn't get to have the birth that I wanted, but I was just happy that my son was okay. He was a C-section baby. He was 8 pounds 7 ounces, 23 inches long. His name is Adrian, and he is now 3 years old. And as for me and his dad, me and him are still together. We're still raising our son together. We still have a place together. Will we get married? I don't know. We'll see. Like, he knows that we both want to get married. It's just a when. I don't know. We'll see. It's in God's hands. So, me and him are still together. After having, you know, a baby, your body just goes through so much. So after getting the C-section done, it wasn't painful. It was after the C-section. After the epidural wears off and they take the catheter out and they try to get you to walk, that was the most pain that I ever felt in my life. I also developed something called spinal headaches from getting the epidural, and those headaches were so painful that I couldn't really function. So after being discharged, maybe a day and a half, about a day, I came back, and they tried to treat the spinal headaches. It's basically just really bad headaches, and the only way that they could treat it without having to do, basically go back in my back, draw some blood from my back to stop the headaches, they gave me caffeine and something called Furoset, and it helped a lot. It took longer to recover, though, I will say that, because I wasn't able to take pain medication because I was on the Furoset and the caffeine. And then I was up all times of night because I'm sitting there taking caffeine or whatever, but it helped stop the headaches. After, you know, being home, postpartum definitely started to kick in because Tarek, he was working a part-time job and they didn't offer him parental leave. So he was home with me for a little bit, so it was like, while I'm still healing and recovering, I was by myself a lot. You know, I was looking at my body in the mirror, just picking myself apart because I'm just like, this is not the Jair that I knew. Like, what happened to me? What happened to me? My body just didn't look the same. I didn't feel the same. I was crying a lot. I actually had thoughts of suicide because sometimes I just felt like my son didn't like me, or I wasn't a good enough mom, or I just couldn't do this. So I was just like, you know what, if I just wasn't here, maybe, you know, he would be better off without me. I will definitely say, if you start having those type of thoughts, go get help. Do not sit there and suffer in silence, because that's what I did. Everybody was looking at, like, of course, I only posted the good things on social media because sadly, that's what you have to do, because there are people preying on your downfall. They want to see you do bad. But as I was saying, I suffered in silence. Tarek didn't really know how to help me, and that's partially because I didn't tell him. Like, it was hard. Like, how do you explain that to somebody? You know what I'm saying? Without sounding crazy, without sounding like an unfit mother. Postpartum depression was definitely a bitch. But I made it through. I'm still trying to lose weight. I had my son 3 years ago, and I'm still trying to lose the weight. Losing weight is hard. And before I had my son, I never used to have a problem with losing weight. I could drop it like that. But, you know, this is my new body. I'm working on learning how to treat my new body. I'm working every day on how to be a better mother than I was yesterday. You know, words of advice, you know, talk to people. You have to. Sometimes talk to other moms, because you'd be surprised they're able to relate. And sometimes when I was out there telling my story, or sometimes when I did post a vulnerable moment on Facebook, I had other moms inboxing, it's like, I didn't know you felt that way because I feel that way too, and blah blah blah. And you know, I gave them advice. I do suffer from depression and anxiety. I did start seeing a therapist about last year. So I've been seeing a therapist for the past couple months, and I 10 out of 10 recommend. Even if you did not have a traumatic childhood or haven't been through anything crazy, it is just nice to have an unbiased person to talk to. So, yeah. I guess you can say my situation wasn't the most ideal, teenage pregnancy that you would probably hear of, like of a teenager struggling to find a job, of a teenager trying to have to drop out of school, of a teenager, living with their parents. When I was 19, I had already had my own place. I was in college and I did drop out. And that was my own fault because I really feel like I could have made it. I really could have, made better efforts, but I let my pregnancy get the best of me and I ended up dropping out. I did eventually end up going back to school and I became a medical assistant. So I'm currently a medical assistant, and right now I'm still trying to figure out, I do work in a doctor's office. I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to do now. I don't know if I want to go back and become an LPN or if I want to go back and be an RN. So the moral of the story is, do not let anybody, hurt your feelings about being a teenage mother. Do not let anybody make you feel bad about being a teenage mother, because point blank in the period, it is what it is, and they are not helping you take care of your child. I will definitely say having my son made me grow up. I already had to grow up fast because of the type of childhood that I had, but made me grow up faster, made me mature, made me want to go a whole lot harder. I was able to, go back to school and finish, and that is something that I'm very, very proud of because it was hard. When I was in school, I was going to school, I think from 8 to 3, and then I would go work my part-time job, and then I would go pick my son up. While all that, I'm still sitting there trying to lose weight, and I'm on a journey of trying to, find my confidence and truly love myself. It was rough, but I did it, and I know any other women out there can do it too. You have to want to. People talk down on me, talk down on me, what I'm saying? But I feel like I made a complete 360 because the old Jair about 4 or 5 years ago, I was a whole ass mess, okay? But I feel like I'm more of a vibe now. I'm able to be myself. I am, I'm doing this damn mom thing. You can't tell me shit. I know I'm a bomb-ass mother. And I'm doing what I gotta do. I have not let having a baby, it may have slowed me down, but I didn't let it hold me back. I'm still doing what I gotta do. I will have the life that I want to. I'm 23 years old, and even as a mother, a young mother, I've traveled out the country. I've tried to travel to different states. I've been able to obtain a full-time job with benefits. Me and Tarek are now homeowners. We do eventually, this is just our first home, and it's kind of like a fixer-upper, but, that's fine because we will upgrade and get a better home. But, having a child doesn't ruin your life. At the end of the day, life is what you make it, and it's all how you handle the situation. I could have easily sat there and sat back and felt like my life was over. I could have easily sat there and decided not to be a mother, be a shit mom, but I didn't. Because you know what? After the childhood that I've had, there's really nothing in this life that I can't handle. Point blank and the period. I am just becoming the best me that I can be, and I'm learning to love myself every day. And I know that you women too. And if you guys would like, for the people who know me, you've already seen my son, Littlefoot. But if you're new here, I will introduce him to you. Zadrian! Drin, come here. Come here. He's coming. Come here. Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
You gonna tell him your name?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Adrian Marshall.
Zadrian Marshall. And how old are you?
3.
Good job. Can you show me what 3 looks like? What does 3 look like? You got it. Go ahead, put it up. 3. You're that many. So guys, this is my baby boy. I'm 23 and he's 3 years old. He will be 4 next year. And I've kept him alive this long, so obviously I'm doing a good fucking job, okay? And look at him. He happy. You happy?
Yeah.
So, like I said, if I can do it, you can do it too. Do not let these hating ass, scratch that, those hating behind people tell you that you can't. Okay? Okay. Point blank and the period. Say bye.
Bye-bye.